Element number 15 on the periodic table is phosphorus. This is Norris Teaches Science. With me, Mr. Norris. This is another Physical Science Edition video, and today we're going to talk about types of chemical bonds. So the video goal for today is I can determine what type of chemical bond is holding a compound together. So before we begin, we need to recover ions. We covered a little bit about them in a previous video, but let's go a little bit more in depth with it. Ions is a charged particle. You can either be positive or negative. Now, if you're a positive number, you're called a cation. These are the ones with the positive or the plus oxidation numbers, and they get this by losing electrons. Anions are the negative charged ions. They are the ones that have the negative or the minus oxidation numbers, -3, -2, -1. And they get that because they have gained electrons. Now, when we talk about chemical bonds, we're going to have two symbols next to each other. The left symbol is the cation, and the right symbol is going to be the anion. All right, a chemical bond. Chemical bonds is the force that holds atoms or ions together, what keeps different atoms of different elements together. And there's three types: ionic, covalent, and metallic. All right, ionic bonds. What happens here, first off, there's a transfer of an electron so that one becomes positive and one becomes negative. And that's the force that holds them together because opposite charges are attracted. This is usually between a metal and a non-metal. There has to be one metal and one non-metal. Remember the stair-step line. The metalloids, you have to have one from the left and one from the right. So my example here is NaCl. NaCl, if you don't know, is table salt. Na is the metal, Cl is the non-metal, and they're going to combine together to form an ionic bond through ionic bonds. Covalent bonds, instead of transferring electrons, they're going to share electrons. And this is between a non-metal and another non-metal, so two different non-metals. So everything to the right of the stair-step line. So example, CO2. CO2 is going to be a covalent bond because carbon's a non-metal and oxygen's a non-metal. The other one is a metallic bond, and they're sharing electrons too. Usually it's sharing of electron in kind of a matrix form. And a metallic bond, if you look at the word, it has metal in it, is when two metals are combining together, and usually these are your alloys. It's really difficult to get like a pure example to see just how they are bonded. But if you see two metals, then it's a metallic bond. So let's do a little practice here. And here we're going to identify the compound as either being ionic or covalent. So this first one, we have to look at these elements. We have K and we have F. K is a metal, F is a non-metal. When you have a metal with a non-metal, it's an ionic bond. All right, let's do this one. We have P, which is phosphorus, that's a non-metal, and O, which is a non-metal as well. When you have two non-metals, that is covalent. So we're just going to write the C. All right, I'll do one more. You're going to pause, try the other three, and then we'll go over it. All right, we have C, carbon, that is a non-metal, and O, which is an oxygen, that's a non-metal, so that's covalent. All right, pause the video real quick, try to figure out the other three if they're ionic or covalent. All right, did you do it? Let's go over the answers so you can check yourself. Mg is magnesium. It is on the left side of the periodic table, so it's a metal. We already know oxygen is a non-metal. And so since it's a metal with a non-metal, that's ionic. All right, we have H, that's hydrogen. It's a trick. Hydrogen is on the left side of the periodic table, but remember it's a nonmetal. It's one of those only nonmetal on the metal side. And O we know is a nonmetal, so this is covalent. Li is lithium, it's a metal. Cl is chlorine, that's a nonmetal, so this is ionic. How'd you do? Probably got tricked up on H2O. All right, now the last thing about these types of bonds, something called diatomic atoms or diatomic molecules. These are atoms of the same element bonded together. So you can see one right here, F2, that is F, two fluorines together. These are all covalent bonds because they only exist with non-metals, and we call them the super seven. So your super seven are F2, Cl2, Br2, I2, H2, O2, and N2. If you see any of those, know right away that they are covalent bonds. I hope you learned a little bit today about the different types of chemical bonds. In the couple videos, we're going to learn how to name them. We're going to learn how to write the formulas, but come back, learn some more with me. But like always, I'm Mr. Norris, and I'm signing out for this video.